All right. So the battle royal. Boom. Did you see it?
I saw it. Yes.
Okay. What do you think?
Okay.
Lesnar, man, jeez.
The man right there, Jesus.
You knew Lesnar was going to do that. Bro, I just didn't.
You knew Lesnar was going to lose to McIntyre. He was going to be eliminated. Really?
No. I didn't know he was going to do that. But I'm just saying, I was like, no, like that wasn't good. But I would have liked. I don't know. It's like it's like it would have been more impressive if McIntyre would have done it more clean.
Right.
Like a spot instead of having here's Brock. He just wrestled for he was there for 26 minutes. He eliminated everybody. Well, the guy kicks him in the balls to make him vulnerable. And here's the thing. I want to fast forward to the end because what on earth? And they said after they started doing so Rollins comes out with all these guys. Buddy Murphy and whatever. They were allowed to just openly interfere in the match.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
They came out just in the middle to interfere and everything. Said, "Well, it's no disqualification. It's a battle royal." And I'm like, "Wait, that doesn't make a." I've never heard that.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, that battle royals are like
and they were interfering, and the referees.
People been interfered before.
Have they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you can just openly go and interfere.
Well, look, Otis came out during the women's match. You know what I'm saying? He didn't interfere, but he just came out.
There was that 1 year Taka and Funaki kept interfering, and then the last time Taka got thrown out, he broke his face on the floor.
It just looks absolutely if when people can when you just literally just make it so openly obvious that why would you just not come out there with a bunch of guys to help you win this thing? When you do stuff like that, it's just what's happened. I'm sure there's other people that look at this like I am. Going, that just looks ridiculous.
No, I saw it, and
does it not look ridiculous, you guys?
I said to the people, I was there with.
Made it look like he was going to win, and then when he finally actually got screwed over, they won, and they got him out of there.
That's what I thought when I was like, "Oh man, fuck this guy."
It looked like he was going to.
I don't know. It paid off the story, and it kept their storyline going with Joe and Kevin Owens and all that.
And there was a lot of the crowd halfway through after Brock got eliminated. The crowd never picked back up again, and it was the crowd was flat for a lot of stuff.
Came out.
Yeah, when Edge came out,
it's when Edge came out. The Edge came out right. It was flat. Then Edge came out. They popped, and then Edge was in there for a while.
When he started spearing everybody, they liked that.
No, but there was a few.
There was good pop, but then when it broke down after Edge hit the ring,
and he froze again. Yeah. There we go.
I got with Randy. They did it so much, and there was a lot of times just standing him in the ring, and the crowd's dead, and they're looking at each other, and they're not really being animated, and it was kind of just brought the match to a crawl, and the crowd nobody was doing anything for a decent amount of time, and the crowd was just doing. Did you notice that?
There was a lot going on for a while.
It was up and down.
It was hit and miss.
Yeah, there was moments where the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," and they were taking in all these big moments.
I
just think here's what I just want to.
Go ahead.
Just two things, bro. I hate wrestling in real big stadiums because you lose a lot of the intimacy and a lot of that thing that you get in smaller venues. You know what I'm saying? And I just think by that time they were probably super tired, bro. They'd been sitting there how many hours?
5 hours.
Yeah, 6 maybe.
3 shows of 4.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's, like I say, bro. I always feel that after 3 hours, fatigue starts just setting in on a wrestling show. And the longer you go, the more fatigued the people get.
When MVP came out, Booker T, straight out of Wakanda, right, because of his outfit. Right. And when he got eliminated, the vibranium steel didn't help him. That made me laugh. That popped me big time.
I didn't notice that.
Fucking Booker T, man.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out to me was the fact that they had Reigns eliminate Edge, who was obviously the crowd favorite at that point. And it just made me think, man, they want the crowd to stick with Reigns and stop booing him and this and that, and they have him in spots like that. Yeah, he's the guy that eliminates the big comeback. It's dude, why would you put him in that spot then if you don't want him to get booed?
So was this Edge's reintroduction? Is he going to be around, or is that a one-off?
It said it's a 3-year deal.
3-year deal? Holy shit.
Whoa.
Well, that's how long?
3 years, and it's going to be a Lesnar type thing where they're not, he's not there all the time.
I'm not going to lie, it was kind of out of place seeing him take all those bumps again, it was you're still used to the fact that he had this big neck injury, but
he took a lot on his neck too. He took that fucking the move from Anderson and Gallows to kind of land on the back of your neck and everything. There's some other ones where I was like, I was looking at it.
Well, see, that's what I like. The one thing I liked about the men's battle royal that I didn't like about the women's battle royal, bro, Charlotte's already done. She's a superstar. There's nothing else you need to do with her. Make somebody else. And the thing they did here, which I thought was great, the minute McIntyre eliminated Lesnar, and what a fucking bump he took, and he sold that like great
for a while.
I thought, okay, this guy's made, because just the way he's standing, he looks great. McIntyre just looks like a superstar, bro.
Yeah.
And so, like, before he almost looked like a tall, kind of like pretty boy type guy. Now he just looks like a badass, and he wrestles like a badass. And I just thought, wow, we just finally made another star good, you know? So, which they didn't do with the women, you know? So Charlotte did not need to win that.
Yeah. Hey, does Brock get a bad reputation of not being one of the boys? Because it seems like he sells and he does stuff.
Yeah, some of it is probably, him. He's antisocial. He does what he wants. He's taking liberties on guys. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we've seen he does do business.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about his matches with Bryan or AJ Styles, where he sold for those guys.
Goldberg, bro. The guy got beat by a fucking guy, that doesn't even wrestle in fucking a couple seconds.
So to Di's point, you can tell the way I'm not a wrestler, right? But the way the men sell versus the way the women sell, it's dramatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so obvious. And that's what makes it more theatrical, per se.
Yeah. Well, they're just, they're learning. I think in a couple of years, you'll probably see women selling better than they do, as a whole now. It's almost like, I almost look at like MMA, like at the beginning, you just saw it was kind of like just Ronda and Gina Carano, and she was destroying everybody. And now a lot better women have come along, and now, you know what I'm saying? And so I think the same thing with wrestling.
Think of this. Hey, growing up, when you guys like...
There he goes.
Hey, maybe you guys did. No.
What was that?
We always used to play wrestle. You used to play wrestle with your friends. So you have like a referee, I used to play wrestle around with my friends and stuff, and we became, we were workers. But
he was a backyarder.
You could go out and fake a match. It looked like shit, but you could go out and do the things to fake a match. You never grew up watching. It's like girls, like their whole youth, they're not play wrestling with each other and stuff, and like they were playing around like that. And now they're just picking up wrestling from a starting point with no previous experience at all.
Mickey James used to sell.
So it's
she would take the widow's peak. That was.
What do you think about that, Konnan? Did you agree?
You broke them up so much that I couldn't really understand.
He was saying he was saying that little boys that watch wrestling and grow up and play wrestle with their friends, they do that more. Little girls don't do it as much, so it takes them longer to adjust when they start training.
I probably think that's changing now. I could probably imagine Paige wrestling with her brothers. I could probably imagine any second-generation wrestler like Charlotte Flair wrestling with her brothers. And like when company comes over, everybody just starts. So I just think that's going to start changing.
You hear about
there is something to that.
You hear about Sasha and Bailey were like obsessive wrestling fans as well. So,
but it's just like when McIntyre took his move.
Those are like in the women coming up. That's an outlier. Like kids boys roughhouse with each other.
Sure.
Horse around and stuff. Girls don't horse around.
Yeah, but
it's a different growing up.
But back then there weren't that many women doing it. But I do think now with more women in wrestling, more women in MMA, maybe little girls are starting to fucking roll around and fucking fight on the bed like we do. Because they see girls doing it on TV before they didn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, do you think?
I cut his internet off.
When you can't wrestle anymore.
Like Nyla Rose came out now, I can see Joe doing more backyard matches, kind of maybe in drag.
It's very inspirational.
Because that move that Alistair, that roundhouse kick he gave McIntyre, and he falls and he has his eyes open, right? Like he's selling. He just sells better,
Yeah,
it's good stuff.